Hi, I'm Chef Ian Bromstead, and welcome to Regal Fare, where I'll show you how to create simple and elegant meals just like we do at some of the finest restaurants in this country. So today we will prepare a tuna crudo with lemon and radish, then we will prepare a sofrito braised chicken with rapini, then finally we will have some warm strawberries with mascarpone and balsamic. So today we can start right away with preparing our tuna crudo. So first we're going to take a little bit of sugar, about 2 tablespoons, and we're going to start cooking this with a little bit of water, about 1/4 cup of water. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to candy these lemon rinds. I've gone ahead and I blanched these lemon rinds in 3 separate changes of water, and what that does is it really takes a lot of the bitterness out of the lemon rinds so that when we go to candy it, there'll be nothing but sweet. So we can just add these blanched lemon rinds right to the simple syrup we're making here, and we can just let this cook. So as that's cooking, we can go ahead and we can start to prepare our radishes and our tuna. So first, to prepare our tuna, I'm going to take 3 nice big slices out of this beautiful yellowfin tuna here. And to do that, what I like to do is take right from the center and create 3 nice big slices. I don't want this to go to waste, but there's a great way that I like to use this, and I'll break this down and I'll put it right through the food mill here, and we'll have a nice little mince of tuna. So we can take all these scraps, put them right into the food mill. Just break them down a little bit so that they go through the food mill a little easier. Break them down into any size pieces is fine. So all this can go right and transfer right to the food mill. And just start passing this through. Takes a few moments, but it'll all go through nice and easily. And now that we have most of our tuna through, we'll just take it away with a rubber spatula. We can set this aside. So to prepare our mince, I'm just going to add a little bit of kosher salt, a little bit of chives, and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So now that we have this seasoned and ready, we can set this aside. And we can start to prepare our radishes. So for our radishes, these are really beautiful with their greens on, so I want to keep some of these with the green on. It'll look really beautiful against the color of the tuna. So we have one here with the green, maybe one more with the green, be nice. And then the rest of these, I'm gonna shave on the mandolin. So I'm just gonna shave the rest of these on the mandolin to have some nice thin shavings, just like this. Just careful to watch your fingers. Nice thin slices, just like this. Should be very nice. Maybe one of these other breakfast radishes on a mandolin. So now that we have some nice radish shavings, we can set these aside when we go to plate. So now we can see that our lemons are starting to come up nicely. We just want to cook these lemons until they're tender. When I blanch them, it cooks them for the most part, but when we cook them into the candy syrup, that's really where they start to break down and become tender. So when we go to puree them, they'll make a nice smooth puree. Just another few moments here. So we can go ahead and start getting our plate ready. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to take these tuna slices and I'm going to season them here on the plate, on the board first, with a little bit of our salt. Season them pretty generously. Protein needs a good amount of seasoning. A little cracked black pepper. And just a little bit of fresh lemon juice. So we can go ahead and we can start plating our tuna. Just arrange them nicely on the plate. We can start to mix our tuna mince. Just want to bring all these together. I'm just going to make one little quenelle of the tuna mince and set this on the side of the plate. This is really delicious with the chives and the crunchy coarse salt. So now that our lemons are just about cooked, we can transfer all of this to the blender. Start to make our puree. I probably won't use all this liquid. I'll definitely need some, but I'll go ahead and remove these with a slotted spoon. So now that we have all of our lemon rinds, I'm just going to add a little bit of the liquid. So we can take just a little bit of our fresh lemon juice and also add this to the blender. Seed here, get that out. So we can start to puree. Maybe a little bit more liquid just to help the puree come together. Shut the blender off and continue to wipe down the sides so that all the lemon pieces get incorporated into the puree. Keep blending. We have a nice smooth puree. A little more liquid. So now that we have our lemon puree ready, we can transfer this to a little bowl to make this a little easier. So we can just take some of the radishes and arrange them around on the plate. Some of our raw slices of radish arrange on the plate. Now we can take one big swoosh of this lemon puree, put this right down the center. So here we have our tuna crudo with lemon and radish. I'm just going to add just a little bit more extra virgin olive oil just on the raw tuna. So here we have our tuna crudo with lemon and radish. I'll be right back and we can start on our sofrito braised chicken. Hi, and we're back and we can go ahead and start working on our sofrito braised chicken. So what we're going to do first is we're going to get started on our sofrito. And we can start that by adding just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to this pan here. And we can go ahead and start adding some minced celery. Some minced carrot. And some minced red onion. We just want to let these cook until they're just tender. The idea is that we are going to fry these in the olive oil. It's what is traditionally known as sofrito in Italy, known as semi-fried. We want to make sure that we're really frying, not sweating. We want to make sure that we're going on high heat and we have a generous amount of olive oil. So now that this is cooking, we can go ahead and start with some polenta. So we can add just a little bit of water. A little bit of milk. I'm going to add about a half a cup of milk. Now once this milk and water has come up to a nice rolling boil, we can go ahead and add our polenta. So we have some dry, coarse ground polenta here. Now that this is hot, we can go ahead and add our polenta. I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of polenta here. So we're just going to let this polenta cook for just a little while because very soon it's going to get very thick. And we're going to want to be able to adjust the consistency. So we can do that on high heat, and then once we get to a nice stewy consistency, we can turn the heat down and just let this cook slowly. So now that we have these things working, we can go ahead and start with our chicken. Our polenta, you can see, is already starting to get a good amount of body here. Starting to get nice and thick. So we can turn this down to a gentle simmer here. You can also add just a little bit of butter to the polenta as well. So we have our sofrito roasting nicely. So we can start by roasting our chicken. So I'm just going to season this very generously with some salt and pepper. Both sides. So I have a half a chicken here. I split the breast into 3 pieces and I split the thigh in half. So nice ample portion here. Salt and pepper, both sides. So we can go ahead and start roasting this right here in a very hot pan. I want to make sure that we have a nice hot pan so that we get a good amount of color on the chicken when we start to roast. So roasting nicely here. We have a nice hot pan here. That's going to ensure that we get a nice crispy skin on our chicken before we start to add some of our other ingredients. Our polenta is cooking nicely. If we need to adjust the amount of liquid in the polenta, we can certainly do that. As the polenta cooks, it'll tend to get a little drier. Add just a little bit more liquid here. Sofrito is cooking nicely. We're going to turn it down just a little bit. It's going a little fast. So we can check on our chicken here. So you can see we're getting some nice color on our chicken. I'm going to go ahead and turn all these. So our next step in adding the sofrito braised chicken is we're going to add some whole cloves of garlic. I'm just going to crush these with the palm of my hand. And these will braise down and be really sweet and delicious. And we can get all of this stuff moved over. And now we can start to toast our tomato paste. So what I like to do is I like to get all the oil down to the side of the pan, and I like to add a nice dollop of tomato paste. What I like to do is just break up the tomato paste and make sure that we toast the tomato paste in the oil. And what that's going to do is give the oil a really delicious tomato flavor, and that's going to encase the whole chicken in that delicious tomato flavor. So our tomato paste is frying. We just want to keep frying the tomato paste. It's a very important part of this sofrito braised chicken. We can go ahead and bring this back up to temperature. And what I also like to do is add our herbs right in here in the oil. And again, that'll flavor the oil. So we can take some rosemary and some sage and get all this incorporated into the oil. Now we can add our sofrito. Get all these things nice and coated. Mix the tomato paste with the sofrito. We can go ahead and add a little bit of white wine. And we can let this deglaze. So now that we're getting close here, we can season our polenta. We can add just a little more liquid. We can move this over to a slower burner. And we can continue seasoning our polenta. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And I'm going to grate in just a little bit of Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Nice amount of Parmesan Reggiano. So now that our polenta is ready and seasoned, we can go ahead and get this out of the way. And we can saute just a little bit of rapini. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Get this cooking here. Now to our chicken, which is almost done. Almost cooked through here. Our rapini or broccoli rabe is sauteing nicely, nice and gently. So now that our chicken is just about cooked through, we can go ahead and we can add some spiced olives. I have here some green cerignola and some black cerignola olives. It's going to go really well with the sweetness of the sofrito and the roasted chicken. So now that this is just about ready, we can start plating. Just turn our broccoli rabe. And again, we're going to season our broccoli rabe with some salt and pepper. So we can plate a nice dollop of our creamy polenta right in the center. We can plate some of our broccoli rabe, our sauteed broccoli rabe, right around the sides. And we can just lay on our chicken. So here we have these nice braised pieces of chicken that we braised in our sofrito with our tomato paste and our olives. They're really delicious here. Set aside the rosemary leaves. We don't want to add those. Those will be a little toothsome. We can just spoon some of the sauce over. So here we have our sofrito braised chicken with olives, rapini, and polenta. We'll be right back and we'll start on our strawberries. Alright, we're back and we can now get started on our stewed strawberries with mascarpone and balsamic. So we're first going to go ahead and we're going to start stewing these strawberries right here, right in a dry pan. And just start cooking them very gently. We can add just a little bit of white sugar. And we can just let these guys cook. Very gently. So now while our strawberries are starting to cook, we can take some of these basil leaves, and I have a preheated pan of olive oil over here. We're just going to drop them right in. And they'll start to fry. Get some nice crispy basil leaves to garnish our strawberries. So as those are frying, we can go ahead and start making our mascarpone cream. So I'm just going to take a little bit of mascarpone cheese here. Add just a little bit of white sugar, maybe a teaspoon, and maybe half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we can just bring these two together. That's really all we need to do to this. So we can remove our basil leaf and just place it on a paper towel here. So these strawberries are just about ready, just another few moments. Really just want to cook them, just very gently. So now that we have our strawberries, basil, and mascarpone ready, we can start to plate. So I'm just going to take some of these stewed strawberries, place them right in a bowl. It's a nice amount of stewed strawberries, and I really like to get some of this sauce at the bottom. Then we can take a nice big heaping dollop of our mascarpone cream. Now I have a little bit of aged balsamic vinegar here. I'm just going to drizzle that right over top. This really adds a nice acidity with it. Works really well with all the sweetness of the strawberries and the sweetened mascarpone cream. If you don't have aged balsamic like this, you can take some regular balsamic and you can just reduce it until it's thick like this. So now I have a little bit of chopped pistachio. It's going to add a nice little bit of texture to all this. All the delicious stewed fruits and the sweet mascarpone cream. And we can just place our basil leaf right on top. So here we have our stewed strawberries with sweet mascarpone cream, balsamic, and basil. We'll be right back to present all our dishes. Welcome back. So we have all of our dishes plated. We have our sofrito braised chicken with olives and rapini. We have our tuna crudo with lemon and radish. You'll notice here I added just a little bit of hung vite radish sprout just to finish. And we have our stewed strawberries with sweet mascarpone cream, balsamic, and basil. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Regal Fare. I'm Chef Ian.